Greetings. It's a beautiful day where we are anyway. It's still light. Just some thoughts, stray thoughts, random thoughts. When was the last time that on a political or social, these issues, when was the last time you were wrong about something? Or when was the last time you went, I didn't realize that? Doesn't have to be that you were wrong, but there was a part that you didn't think about, you didn't know about, or you had an understanding that wasn't actually accurate. When was the last time you had input coming to you that made you think? When was the last time, essentially, you were challenged in your own understanding of how things are? If it's any longer than a week, 2 weeks, I'm not talking about if you're on vacation, but if it's any longer than a month, then I would say, and I challenge you to consider, that you don't have enough different sources. Because, again, you don't have to be wrong, but there are dimensions to things that it's not possible to get everything. And if you have that dimension, you might actually come back to the way you view it with a little bit more depth, a little bit more fullness, a little bit more humility. A little bit more humility. I won't pull the hood up, but am I ever humble? Did I forget how to be humble? Have I been humble that I don't know everything? I don't have to fight through that, but do I treat other input as worthy of respect and listening to? Now, the problem we have today is that so much of what we think our sources are just mouths contributing to this global warming thing. This is what they do. Doesn't matter what media you listen to. Doesn't matter if you're Fox or if you're CNN or if you're MSNBC or any of these others or any of those late night, they're called comedians, but they're not funny. So how can they be called comedians? If you listen to them and that's your source, for God's sakes, use a second brain cell and go to get information from different sources. Whoops, I just slipped into telling you what to do. But you know what? Do it. We'll argue about it later. If you don't hear anything that makes you stop and think, I'm assuming that you're willing to listen to something that doesn't fit your vision, your view. I'm assuming that. Maybe I'm giving you too much credit. Sorry if I am. But really, if you're not willing to entertain what that other person or the other people are saying, if you're not willing to walk through where they got that from, then you are a closed mind. Don't be a closed mind. Come on. You don't know everything. I don't know everything. And here's what I'm telling you. I know a lot, but I know I don't know everything. Here's an example of what made me think about this. It's a little bit of detail. Don't get lost in the detail. Don't ask 1,000 questions. Just don't. Because I know that's not you, but I have some people that I talk to. I can never give an example without them going through all of the detail that they don't even want to know and understand. Here's this description. The description was a critique of Justice Jackson of the Supreme Court, who dissented in the affirmative action decision case. I know they didn't call it that, but where Harvard was sued for discriminating against people by race. She dissented from the majority, saying that affirmative action was justified. Giving Black people advantages was justified. And she said that, and of course, I'm sorry, I'm presenting this in certain ways. She lost. She's in a minority, but not a minority of minority. She's a minority of thinking because she said, as an example, that Black doctors were better at treating Black patients because they understood pain levels for Black patients, something to that effect. She's wrong. That's racist. That is racism. Now, I read comments because I like to hear what the people listening to it have to say. And there was a commenter, I guess that's the word. There was a commenter. I'm assuming the person was Black. It's irrelevant if they were, but I'm assuming they were Black, who made the point that there's a reason or a basis why she might have said that. Does not justify it, does not support it, does not say it's legitimate, but there's a basis in history and experience. Oh, so real life, actual experience factors in. We can't just go by the theoretical. And the experience was apparently that in medical schools, it was presented that somehow Black people had a higher pain tolerance. Now, I actually have heard that before, a long time ago. I've heard that. So when that poster made that comment, it reminded me that is how some thought, and some apparently doctors thought, because that's what they were taught. And like any people, doctors are busy learning everything that they need. They don't have time necessarily to say, well, wait a minute, how do you know that? Where are the studies? They don't have time to do that. So they're presented it. They assume that what they're presented is vetted, actual, double-blind, verified, deliberate, intentional studies. That's not what happens. But they were taught that. So some Black people, maybe many, I don't know, have been treated differently because the doctor, in their understanding, which they don't even actively think about, assumed that Black people's pain tolerance was higher. Stepping out of that, I've got to say, because I'm posting this and I can do this, it makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me. I can have higher pain tolerance than he can have, than she can have, but less than him. It's not because I'm Black. It's not because of my race. It's not because I'm a man or she's a woman. No, it's because the individual might have higher pain tolerance or lower pain tolerance. This is why it's the art of medicine. You have to know this person. It's not race that does it. So, back into the thing. I appreciated that poster putting that in there because it was, and the poster was clear. He did not support, I'm assuming it's a man, Justice Jackson's description and declaration as factual when it was not factual. Then that study did not say what she said it said, and she didn't challenge anything, nor did she support it. What she said was affirmative action justification that is the reason why that decision was made. However, the poster did make the point that reminded me, and I'm not closed on this, but it reminded me that Oh, yeah. There are reasons why that's part of the consideration. So, when was the last time you were wrong? That's harsh. That's hard. It's the real world. Go ahead, step out into it. No, but seriously, most of the time, it's not about that, but it is about. No, I just started. It is about parts that I had forgotten this. I hadn't thought about it in that context. So humble, be humble, clear, questioning. I ain't buying it, even if you're selling it, because it's got to be true. If you leave it on the table and I can look at it without you pushing me, and if it's true, I'll accept it. If you're pressuring me to accept it because somehow I'm supposed to accept it, okay? So we've got a lot of this that we have to say, okay, how do I check myself? How do I check my assumptions? How do I allow other points to come in that maybe will, oh, I like having a round, full 360-degree understanding. I like that. I'm astonished by how many people have one-dimensional understanding. This, they never do this. They're Mauser, but they do this and this. I don't understand that. Oh, because they can't be wrong about anything. They can't even miss a part of it because that will force this from here to here and up to here. They'll have to start thinking. So, to the anonymous poster who was not anonymous, but to me, I don't remember any of it, I appreciate that you pointed out that. Now, I will never do the work, I won't do it, of those who claim systemic racism, but they don't define what that is. Get out of here. You claim it, you support it. But if you want to give an example of something that is not systemic by law, by power, by government, but nevertheless is part of the way things work, and you want to claim that systemic, I wouldn't use that term because systemic to me is about laws and government of power and enforcing. But you want to talk about something that is insidious. It is the idea somehow, even that doctors were presented. I'm understanding this. I'm not declaring it to be so, but I understand this. That's a problem that we need to root out. And it isn't racism. It is, okay, this was presented as true without being challenged. Challenge it. So, as part of our development of our individual rights, liberties, and freedoms, it is developing our minds to be quick to say, hey, where'd you get that? Where's that coming from? No, I'm not going to believe it just because you say it. Tell me where you got it. I'm listening. Go ahead. Dialogue, discussion, not this. Son of Liberty 2020, amliberty2020 at gmail.com, taverntalks.locals.com. Let's get back to being interested in learning, exploring, and considering, even if we still argue after. See you next time.